The Derek talks about blank with blank.
Podcast. Episode 5, I Love Annie.
Run to the sky tonight. We'll see you in the lights.
Hello and welcome to the Derek Talks About Blank with Blank podcast. Today's guest is I Love Annie. They are an indie rock band from Phoenixville area in Pennsylvania. They have 143 followers on Facebook and 149 on Instagram currently. So relatively speaking, they are a pretty new band. But even though they are a pretty new band, their song Aurora has over 9,700 streams on Spotify.
Yeah.
Congrats to you guys on that.
Woo! Yeah.
So, how about if you guys introduce yourselves and what instrument you guys play for the band?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. My name is Nate. I am from the Tampa area, but I moved to Philadelphia not too long ago. And I am a lead vocalist and guitarist.
Heck yeah. And I'm Declan. I am from the Phoenixville area. Heck yeah. Represent. Why not? And I play bass, and I primarily play bass. I also do backing vocals and occasionally the fiddle. So be on the lookout for some fiddle parts in our tune. Chase, do you want to go?
Sure, yeah. I'm Chase. I play drums, and I'm from around Phoenixville as well.
And I'm Zach, lead guitarist, and I'm also from Phoenixville. Live only 5 minutes from this guy, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's here. So.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so let's move on to the Gen Qs. So first off, to start, what other artists or groups are your biggest inspirations? And specifically to Nate, who's the lead singer, where do you draw inspiration for your vocals or your vocal technique? So just any inspirations, throw them out there.
Ooh, great question. So I would say probably the biggest inspiration for me would be the Beatles, and that is both like collective Beatles and all like the solo stuff I did afterwards. I would say vocally, I do like a lot of like growly stuff, and probably relate to a little bit of like Bob Dylan / like War on Drugs type dirt. And then I also love bands like smaller indie bands like Pine Grove. Yeah, probably. I listen to Pine Grove like pretty much every single day. So huge inspiration from that kind of thing.
I know Declan likes prog rock.
Yeah, I'm a huge prog guy. Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Like King Crimson, yes, Genesis, ELP. Anybody who plays guitar and bass in those bands, you could ask me a question about them, I'll know the answer. Of course, the Beatles, you know. There are people who argue that they were the first prog band, and I understand that argument. So, I don't know. I always thought that was pretty cool. And I'm also into like that groovy stuff too, like Steely Dan. I've been getting into Voltec recently.
Yes.
And some of the more like wild kind of out there stuff, like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, if you know that name.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, they're Aussies. There's 7 of them. Two of them are drummers, so they're really cool.
I guess I would say for me personally, Beatles, huge. George Harrison is just as a player, as a musician, as a writer, amazing person. I've been also recently getting into Peter Gabriel, just a lot of his later works, some of the mid-'80s stuff. But personally, in terms of guitar playing, I definitely really like to try to draw as much as possible from Stevie Ray Vaughan a little bit and John Mayer a little bit. I like how they touch the way with their guitar playing. They're both very light. They both walk around it perfectly. So that's what I strive to do anyway.
And for myself, like they all said, the Beatles, I think you can hear a lot of that in the writing overall, especially how the guitar, bass, and drums and the melody kind of interact with each other in almost like a contrapuntal way. And for my drumming style, I like a lot of rock, lot of indie stuff. I like some jazz combo drummers, Max Roach, Art Blakey, Philly Joe Jones, big band drummers like Sonny Payne, specific rock drummers, Dave Grohl, Rick Marotta, Bernard Purdy, lots of old heads and some newer guys too, but lots of old heads who are real innovators on the instrument I like to listen to.
Nice. Okay. So question 2, do you ever find a deeper connection to one of the songs that you guys have made? You guys have released 4 songs currently. But then another song that you weren't expecting to get popular gets popular. So obviously, as we know, Aurora is easily your most popular song just because it has over 1,000 streams and all your others have under. So were you guys surprised by Aurora getting that much attention? Or no?
I guess I'll hit this one. I mean, I was mildly surprised. I come from like a solo, like singer-songwriter kind of vibe down in Florida, and I never really did anything with a band. And so to get with these guys and release something like that, it was pretty wild. I mean, I've been sitting on the Aurora song for a couple of years. I do primarily majority of our writing, and I never thought that like it would vibe as much as it did. And it totally just came together. And I think it was because like all 4 of us were adding to it. And we all had like some really like interesting lines going on. As far as like answering your question though, I think for me, I relate to more like a Reverend Simon type vibe, because I come from like the more like folk style kind of music. And so that song's a little bit more folky. It's a little bit different than the other ones. But as you said, Aurora's gotten a lot more popular. It's more, I think it's because like that's more of like a windows down on a Saturday kind of song. Whereas Reverend Simon, you got to be in the mood to get into that. But nonetheless, I love them both. So I'm glad they're just doing well.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, if any of our tunes were going to get like as popular as like, well, yeah, I figured Aurora would have been the one to rise up, you know. But I definitely say I feel like a stronger connection to Stranger, just because like part of it's because I was given a little more freedom to do some more like a little more freaky bass stuff on it. Like there's that one part where everything cuts out, and I got to record my bass over twice, like an octave apart, and I like hard panned one to the left and hard panned one to the right, and I was doing like, I got to use the 5 string, so I was hitting that really low C, and I feel like there was a little more like freedom, and the song was just a little bit looser, so I could like fit little riffs in there, and I don't know, it felt a little more personal to me than like let's say Butch or Aurora. But I do really love those tracks, and also Nate touched on Simon. Nate actually had me play fiddle on that one, which so far is the only track where I actually got to play that. I had to like violin was my first instrument, but I had to like relearn some of the stuff just because it's been a while. So I had to rebuild those violin muscles, and I had to like figure out like certain stuff on the fiddle, because I was like classically trained. I wasn't really trained in like the fiddle style, I suppose.
You did a great job though.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But it was a learning curve. I had to learn a bit. I had to do some research for that one. But yeah, no, that's I guess that would just be my take on.
Yeah, he was vibing with it. That was recorded in my kitchen.
That's true. Yeah, it was recorded in Nate's kitchen at the time. It was cool.
It was a great recording space.
Or as we call it, Dino Town Studios.
It's great. I think I don't personally have a super deep connection to any of the tunes. I love them all. They're great tunes. Just in terms of connecting with any of them, there's one thing that I will say. One of our most recent tunes, Butch. I had a lot of fun making it. Nate and I spent a little bit of time one night just thinking, you know, what guitar part can we put in? What's going to fit? And everything we tried just seemingly wasn't working until just one quick little thing. In the back of his room, he had a small 3-string slide guitar. And I always thought that thing was fun. I always just kind of played around with it. Never thought anything too much of it. And then I believe it was Nate's suggestion, try it on the tune. And so we did. And boy, it worked out quite well. So when you listen to Butch, listen for that slide guitar. It's in there.
Yeah, it's really dope. Really do
slide guitar.
really shreds on that thing.
I guess for me, I think I'm not surprised that Aurora got the most successful out of the tunes. I think they're all really well written. But I mean, the kind of music that I like to listen to is music that almost takes like I guess you would call it like a Wagnerian approach, where it's a lot of parts kind of all contributing to a big sound. And each part might not have a super complicated or super out there part. And, the player might not shine, but in context, it makes a lot of sense how it sits. Listen to any Beach Boys record, any Steely Dan record, anything by Wagner, and you can hear that. And I think Aurora is a good example of that, of everything kind of sitting without sticking out unnaturally or unnecessarily. You're not trying to bog the listener down with too much information. And I think, songs like that, I think that's why the Beatles were so popular. They all stood in their lane and they all did their thing and had their personalities, but the sum of the parts was more important to them ultimately than the part itself. So I think that's why I like Aurora so much and why I think it got popular out of the tunes.
Nice. Okay, number 3. Favorite artists or groups at the moment? Like, what's in your listening, or what are you listening to right now, like consistently?
I don't know if you want to shoot this one first, or
I guess I could shoot this one first. So as I previously mentioned, I'm listening to a lot of Peter Gabriel recently, just a lot of the 80s stuff. It's a little more ambient, and I really enjoy that in terms of feel and things like that. A band that I've always gone to in the past, recently haven't listened too much of it, just trying to expand my horizons, but something I know a lot about would be Pink Floyd. I love their Golden Year albums, anything basically from the late 60s to the late 70s. And one of their albums in the mid-'80s. I just really enjoy. In terms of style, I love the ambience of that. I love the ambience of 80s Peter Gabriel and things like that. Now I'm trying to remember a different band. But either way, just those are pretty much a lot of what I listen to now.
I guess I'll go next. I've been listening to a lot of Pine Grove. Too much Pine Grove. I've really been digging them recently and their style. In terms of, I guess, like classical stuff, I like minimalism a lot. Steve Reich and Philip Glass and Terry Riley. So I'm always checking out some of their stuff. I was listening to Miles Smiles by Miles Davis. Couple other jazz records with good drums, some Sinatra, and also Queens of the Stone Age, Forever and Always.
heck yeah.
You just took a trip around so many genres right there.
Yeah, that's our chase. Recently, the most recent would be I traded a buddy of mine one of my vinyls for this double LP, and it's the movie soundtrack, like the original soundtrack from 19 Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been. It was Wyeth actually.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Dude, that guy's the best.
Oh yeah, Wyeth. His band name is The Moon Illusion. Go stream his music. His music is awesome.
Amazing.
Bump.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been listening to that, and like, I didn't realize. I know John Williams is a legend. He's done so many different movies. He's known for Star Wars, but I didn't realize just how awesome it was until I listened to it by itself, without like any of the blaster fights or the lightsaber duel or Han Solo tonguing Princess Leia. You know. Sorry for that imagery, but and Nate just leaves for a second. But seriously, the music is absolutely incredible.
It's a great film score.
Yeah, it's great. But other than that, I've been listening to a lot of Tchaikovsky. I got a lot.
I'm back. Can you all hear me?
That's a
Yes, we can hear you.
The ghost of Nate. But anyway, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Tchaikovsky, a lot of that. I've been listening to a lot of Giz recently, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, specifically Polygon Dwanaland. Great, fantastic album.
Okay.
Flying Microtonal Banana is really cool. And the biggest one that I've been listening to is Steely Dan. I've been listening to so much freaking I got this guy
You got
really
me
big
into Steely Dan.
Yeah, specifically I got him into Asia. Check this out. I don't mean to flex on y'all, but I don't know if you can see this. My Spotify Wrapped, I was the top 0.01% of Steely Dan listeners in the year 2020.
A lot of Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like-
gosh.
Like I love Steely Dan too much. And I guess, like, as always, I've been peppering in King Crimson because they're like my all-time favorite. But yeah, definitely a lot of Steely Dan, a lot of Giz, a lot of Star Wars by John Williams. Shout out to John Williams.
Who will probably never see this podcast.
For that matter, shout out to Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. Come on, yeah.
I'm gonna send it to him. We'll see if he watches it. I'm gonna send it to him.
Yeah.
Of course, Mark Hamill.
Nate, are you able to speak to us?
I think
That's a soliloquy right there.
yeah, I want to speak to you. Can you hear me?
Just give it a try. We believe in you. You got this, man.
I would, to answer your question, Derek, I have Paul McCartney's Ram on repeat, and I've also been listening to a lot of Yes lately, and that's been like huge inspiration. As Chase said, I'm also a Pine Grove freak. I think I told you to get into Pine Grove, Chase.
Yep.
I'm glad you're finally doing it. Their drummer is nasty, like big nasty.
I know he's really good.
And their movie that just came out yesterday was incredible. It was like the most like wild sloth catch I've ever seen. But yeah, definitely a lot of Yes and a lot of Paul McCartney. And I've always listened to George Harrison, and I vibe with that kind of stuff.
Heck yeah. Wait, what Yes have you been getting into?
I got Haroldland.
Okay.
It's like one of their first albums. On the cover, it just says Yes. So
That's their self-titled.
Album, yeah.
I picked it up at a record store not too far from me.
That's a great record. Peter Banks on guitar.
Yep.
It is.
What's his name? Tony Keys, yeah.
Amazing keyboardist.
Yeah, not as good as Rick Wakeman. Yeah. That being said, though, you should definitely. I'm sorry, Derek. I'm speaking directly to Nate, but you should definitely check out "Going for the One." That's probably my favorite Yes record. Like, dude,
Good one.
the track, like, just "Awaken" is easily one of their best tracks, like, ever.
Is that the one that you suggested to me and then I listened to it and I was like, what is this? This is amazing.
It
Is that
very
that
well
one?
could be. It's the one that goes around the circle of fourths, like halfway through.
Is it the one where there's the guy on the front cover and he's got a naked booty?
Yep, that's it.
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
Best
Yeah, go on.
It's the one with the naked booty.
Yeah, no, like, seriously though, like the title track, "Turning for the
That's
Century,"
it.
"Turning the Century," "Parallels," what's it called, "Wondrous Stories," and then "Awaken." It's my favorite album of theirs.
That album is crazy.
It's amazing. Some of the best keys work by Rick Wakeman, like, ever.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
That album will blow your mind.
We're plugging Yes here.
Dude, Yes is amazing. Shut up.
Okay, moving on to my questions for you guys.
Okey
Okay,
doke.
so let's get the elephant out of the Zoom call. What the freaking heck does "I Love Annie" actually mean? Also, how did you all meet each other? I feel
Should
like
I-
you would tie in.
Should I tell this one?
Yeah, man.
You tell the name. I can tell us how we all met.
Okay, I'll tell the name. So, on a Wednesday, I was chilling out, having myself a good poop, and I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, and I found this old combo organ from like the 60s. Okay. And I hit this guy up. I sent him a good old DM, and I said, hey, is this still available? As you do on Facebook Marketplace. And he responded, and you could like immediately just tell like this guy was like super flaky. And he was like wanting me to come like check out this organ. And I was like, yo, what's your Addy though? And he didn't hit me up with that address. And so the next, like a day goes by, it's a Thursday, and I'm like, hey, I want to buy the organ. And he's like, okay, but you're going to have to get it from my mom. And I was like, dude, it's whatever. Just send me the dang address. And he sends me the address, and it's like an hour away from Phoenixville. And so I take my car and I go drive, and I pull up to this guy's house. The man's name's Michael. And his mom comes out, and it's like this sweet little old lady, which in context, that's like no more than 4 or 5. And she rolls out and she said, are you here for the organ? And I was like, yes, I'm here for the organ. She said, oh, Michael said you would be coming. Here it is. I haven't touched it since 73. And I was like, oh, excellent. That is one heck of an organ you have there. And so as time went on, I ended up buying the organ. She was so happy, and she was like, I'm so glad somebody is using this. My kids never picked it up. And it was just a very, very wholesome evening. And I was sweet. And we wanted to name the band Dino Town, but we figured it was more of like a funk band. So we were band names.
It's the name of our studio now, though.
And I was telling them the story of Annie. The lady's name was Anne. And they're like, man, I love Anne. And I was like, whoa, that could be a name. So we named it I Love Annie. After we released Aurora, and I got like a pretty solid hit, I like reached out to the lady, like, hey, we named a band after you. Nice. That's the story of the name.
Yeah. So that's how, yeah. And basically... Oh, no, there we go. Okay. But basically, I've known this guy for like 6 years.
Oh, it's
It's going on 6 years. Because he and I actually went to high school together. I was a freshman when he was a junior. And he played trumpet in marching band, and I was in the drum line. And for those of you who are listening who are in marching band, we had this one formation where Zach was on the 50-yard line, and the bass drums were in like a circle or in a half circle around it.
Basically what it was, just a little bit of context.
Yeah.
If you've read the book George Orwell's 1984, it's one of my favorite books of all time.
Fantastic book. If you haven't read it, read it.
Really well written. We had a show based on it, basically a marching band on it. And there was a set where I had a solo, and the drum line was behind me, and I had to march up, forward, and Declan was marching towards the front, so we were looking at each other.
Yeah.
And then just the first time I ever seen this guy, never know him.
Just out of nowhere.
He does.
I just go like this. I'm just like, yo, what's up?
So like,
just give him a little nod, just out of nowhere. I never met this guy either. I was I'd heard his name before, and I knew his name was Zach, and I knew he was like fairly popular. I was like, all right, this is the guy to get in with. I was like, sup?
So like 2 times happened, and then eventually I just go, sup? And then we start doing it in the hallway, and then eventually it snowballs, and here we are 6 years later.
Yeah, basically, I had started this band called Second Cadence, and we needed a guitar player. And it turns out he plays guitar. We got talking, and it became a thing. And a year goes by, and we're practicing, and we have our first gig at this place called Chaplin's, and we're opening for this band called The Odyssey. And Chase was the drummer for The Odyssey. So we're playing, we're having a good time, and we're just this like crappy little cover band, whatever. And then The Odyssey comes on, and they have this last set. They had this great show. It's great. It was fantastic. I apologize for swearing, but anyway, and Chase is just this incredible drummer, and I follow the band for like a year and a half. I'm like their biggest fan, and eventually they're like, one of their guitar players leaves, and they're like, dude, do you want to play guitar with us? And I was like, okay. So I end up playing guitar for the Odyssey. I get in good with them, and then Zach becomes our guitar tech for like a few months, and then the Odyssey breaks up. And I kind of poached Chase and their bass player Jake.
Really great guy too.
Really solid bassist, really good guy. Shout out to Jake. Mwah. And then the two of them with Zach, we formed this group called Revelation. We're doing this like prog rock kind of deal. By the way, shout out to Revelation. Shameless plug.
We got some stuff out there, but we want to do some new stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna do our first studio album pretty soon, hopefully, and that's a whole side thing. And then Nate moves up to Florida because my mom is renting out part of the house to him, and because he moves up here for a job. And I realized, holy cow, this dude is a big music guy, and he's really into indie rock. And he says, dude, do you want to start like a band? And I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds great.
And here we are.
And that's basically what happened. Yeah, so now we got this like Beatles lineup. I'm doing bass, He's doing guitar and vocals. Zach's on guitar. Chase is on the drums. And all is well in the world except for the fact that Nate moved back to Florida.
We're working with it.
We're working with it. We're still releasing stuff.
Absolutely. Like the three of us PA boys are going to be doing some studio time up at the Millersville studio because I actually go to Millersville. And Derek knows how he goes to Millersville.
And we're gonna send Nate all of our tracks.
Yeah, and we're gonna send Nate all of our stuff, and he's gonna put his part in it. He's gonna like mix it, master it, et cetera, et cetera.
Keeping the dream alive.
Exactly, keeping the dreams and the memes.
Yeah.
So, exactly. So technically, like where Nate's gonna be working is quote unquote Dinotown Studios. So we are using the name Dinotown for something. So, and then. Yeah. So that's how it's where we are now. Shout out to Revelation. Shout out to the guys who were once in the Odyssey, specifically Jake King and Wyatt Casbright, the Moon Illusion. Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, what is the idea behind the Test Kit series? I noticed that on each one of your releases so far, you have the words Test Kit on the cover art. And then you sometimes put a number after it as well.
That's a Nate question.
Nate?
I think I can answer that too.
Yeah, Chase, take it.
I just think it's it's an indie thing, creating I think a lot of indie music now is kind of creating a whole mood and aesthetic around your music, and I think it's just kind of in service of that. If you look at bands like Bon Iver or Pine Grove, they have a very well-defined aesthetic and like curvature to how their members act in public, how they dress, how their music sounds, how their songs are titled, and how their albums are titled. Like Pine Grove has 2 interlocking squares as their main symbol. Lots of their super fans get that tattooed. Bon Iver usually will title songs based off of places or create a common theme for a record. And I think that, making them called Test Kit, with the little Pierre the Penguin in there kind of just is in service of creating a whole vibe around the band.
Cool. So my next question is, what is your song Butch about? On the singles cover art, it says, quote, tell his story. The only person I can personally think of with the name Butch is Butch Hartman, the animator who created shows like Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, stuff that we grew up on. But I'm guessing that's not who you're talking about when you mean tell his story.
Yeah. It looks like Nate's having some connection problems, but I can take this one too.
Oh no, Nate's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just take it. So down in Florida, there's this guy who would hang around one of the shopping centers down there. Oh, are you good, Nate?
Hey, we're talking about Butch. You should tell us about Butch.
Yeah.
You with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, him a sec. It'll warm up.
One moment.
It's like a vintage car. You have to let it warm up.
Yeah. Until it breaks down on you.
Literally, that whole time that he was talking about that woman. Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry. My internet's going in and out, but I will definitely tell you about Butch. There was, can you all hear?
Yeah. Sort of. Just keep going. Just keep rolling.
See if it works.
Okay. Butch is just essentially this old dude that lives in my old hometown. He's kind of grouchy. He is honestly just the biggest personality you'll ever meet. And he just hangs around this coffee shop and talks to you like you've known him for forever, but it's like your first day meeting him. And there was like one moment and one day.
Chase, you want to pick it up?
Yeah, sure. So like you said, Butch is kind of that older dude who lived in his town. And basically, he's got his stories and things like that. And I think that the song is about him. And,
That's actually him on the cover, too, to my understanding. That is Butch.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. I think. Nate,
I'm not positive. But like he was saying, he's just the old guy in the town with stories, and he would ride his bike. Yeah.
Okay, so it is Butch.
Yeah.
Nice.
looks like Harvey Keitel.
If you listen to the lyrics, they kind of tell a little bit of the story about him riding his bike around the town, and there are definitely some allusions to some illicit substances in there as well. If you listen to the lyrics, you'll probably pick out. But those all kind of relate to his story and, the story that he would tell.
Nice.
Yeah. I never met Butch personally, but he seems like a good dude. So we wrote.
I'd love to meet him.
Yeah, exactly. We never met him. Nate knows, but
Yeah.
It sounds like a great Class A Chad.
I know him, and I can attest to all the things they say. I'm going to let you guys take the majority of the questions as my Wi-Fi is kind of going in and out, but I'm pretty sure you hit what.
That's okay, man. No worries. We will answer these questions to the best of our ability. We got.
Yeah. Shoot, Derek.
Okay, so the next question is, who's whistling in your song Stranger? And I can't speak English right now. And whose idea was it to put that in the song, the whistling?
I think the answer to both of those questions is Nate.
Yep. Yeah, Declan's right.
Yeah.
I believe he whistled in his microphone in his bathroom.
That's right, because we would record all of our songs in the bathroom.
All of our vocals were
in the bathroom. Yeah.
Good acoustics. It really is.
It's solid acoustics.
But yeah, just Nate. I don't know if there's any secret meaning behind the whistling.
No, I mean, it's just like, it sounded good, so.
It filled the spot.
It sounded good.
I mean, it does, so I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, exactly.
So number 5, what was the inspiration and meaning behind your song Reverend Simon? Because obviously it's a little bit more of a folkier song. It sounds a little bit more religious because you say amen at the end and very vocal. So what's the inspiration behind that?
That's a pretty serious Nate question, but I think Chase might be able to.
Yeah, I can elaborate a little bit. I don't want to misspeak about any of kind of the characters that Nate has created in his writing, but I think that generally when Nate writes, he writes with kind of like with a given set of characters in mind. Whether he's writing about Butch or Aurora, or he's talking about the characters in Stranger and things like that. And so I think that Reverend Simon is kind of based in the idiom of these characters that he's kind of created, talking about people from his hometown and, elaborating on experiences that he's had. and experiences that like friends have had and things like that, and just kind of creating a bit of a embellished new story off of those themes.
Right, and I'm pretty sure like part of it. Again, I don't want to misspeak for Nate or anything. I think part of it might be like part of that is like the like Nate's own relationship with his parents, specifically I think his mom. And again, Nate, I apologize if any of that information is wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I was told.
We're trying to hashtag tell your story.
That's why we keep Zach around.
I got a zinger every once in a while.
Yeah, we keep him around for the one-liners and the guitar playing. No, but we're just kidding. We love our Zach. But yeah, I'm pretty sure like that's what that's all about. And I don't know. I mean, it's a great song. You know, it's fantastic. It's got a lot of
Check it out if you
It's
haven't.
got a lot of symbolism. It's got a lot of great fiddle playing. No,
It's a wonderful tune to just sit back and relax to. You know, just have a wonderful morning, Saturday morning, sit out on the porch, just listen to it.
exactly. Really solid backing vocals too. Was that you and Chase? Was that all Nate?
For the actual choir, and yeah. I think there's something around like 16 to 20 vocal tracks. A couple of them were Chase, a couple of them were me, a couple of them were Nate.
I did not have any, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I was just fiddle.
He wasn't around for the vocal track aspect of it, but that entire choir is just a mix of us.
So yeah, that's because Zach and Chase actually commute to college, and I live on campus.
And we're both very close to this building, which is where we were able to record the majority of our stuff. So
Yeah.
Okay. I also have another question that I just thought of. I think it's in Stranger, if I remember right. But there's this really, really interesting guitar riff. I think it's chordal. And forgive me, I'm not a guitarist. I don't know really anything about guitar other than what I've learned from watching like Rob Scallon and Samurai Guitarist on YouTube, which is basically nothing still.
you're amazing.
But there's this like really, really cool thing that you do with the guitar. I don't know who does it, but it almost sounds like it's key changing. Like there's multiple key changes in what you're doing. I could be completely wrong mishearing that, but what am I thinking of? It's towards the end of the song, I think.
How does it go?
Now I have to.
Yeah, and part of it, the bass sort of does like this kind of walk-up thing. I mean,
Yeah,
because the chords are like C major and then E major and then F, so it like dances around the key of C.
you did a couple tracks on that too, didn't
But
you?
we're breaking a couple of the rules with that. Yeah, and I did like 2 or 3 tracks of bass on that.
Just layered them.
Yeah, but we didn't keep the layers unfortunately because it got too boomy. But
We kept the second layer.
no, that was just me. That was just me going back and forth between the octaves. But
I didn't catch that in production.
eventually I ended it on the low C,
Yeah.
like the really, really low C. So it's like, you know,
It's
but I mean, Zach's doing all sorts of lead stuff in that.
and Stranger.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So my guitar in Stranger, I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but if you notice about maybe a fourth of the way into the song, you'll hear a guitar with very heavy tremolo effect on it. It's playing higher notes.
Yeah.
It's just giving ambience to it. That's pretty much just what I'm doing the whole song. It adds a flavor to it that it otherwise did not have before. So I'm happy with that. Obviously, that bass part was amazing.
Yeah. And not to get all jazz theory on y'all, but jazz theory is a beautiful thing. Go learn it. I liked how, like, first thing I noticed was when the chord changes to E after, like, Nate's first, like, little bout of lyrics. Like, you know, he plays the high C chord, then he plays an E minor over A major, or over E major. So it gives it, like, a bit of a sharp 9 vibe.
Very jazzy.
Yeah, which I thought was, like, I thought it was cool. I thought it was like honestly, it felt like something like Harrison might have done if given the opportunity. So I mean, I thought that was really, really cool. Do more of that, please.
Sure.
Gotta love them Steely Dan chords, you know.
And henceforth the inspiration.
Exactly. them Jacob Collier chords.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
No, that's a Dan thing. That's definitely a Dan thing. The sharp 9, like Deacon Blues type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great tune.
Check out Deacon Blues off of Asia.
It's my favorite Steely Dan tune.
Really good song. Really good album too. Honestly, all of Steely Dan's really good. So just check them out. Oh, that was a massive sidetrack. I apologize, Derek. Please.
It is perfectly fine. I was trying to look for it again, trying to listen back to it while you were getting into the theory stuff, because and I could not find it. So maybe
That's okay.
I'm just totally
Okay.
misremembering. It's like
I'm sure we covered it.
That's all right. I'm sure we figured it out in one way or another. But yeah, definitely give it a listen. To the people who are listening to this, give that song a listen. If you hear anything cool or quirky, definitely DM us, ask us about it. I don't know where I'm going with that.
All right. You got next
Back
question?
to you, Derek.
okay, and so that's it with my questions. Now, fan questions. None of your fans sent me in some, so of course, then we go to the default last fan question, which is from my mother. Go, Mom. So she asked a couple questions. Let me just state them all, and then you can do them in order, however you want, whatever. So she asked, 1, do you guys all go to the same college? 2, are any of you music majors? 3, is anyone in your own families musically inclined? Basically, do you draw inspiration or jam with anyone y'all are related to?
I guess we're going to have to do these one at a time.
Yeah, Chase, you want to start?
None of us. Well, I don't go to. Yeah, I don't think any of us go to the same college. But I'm a music major, and Declan's music major. Zach and Nate are not.
It's out of college.
Yes. And I personally am not related to anyone that plays music.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I go to Millersville. Shout out to Millersville. Derek and I go to Millersville. Yeah. Music industry program.
Great day to be a Marauder.
It is always a great day to be a Marauder. That should be the official slogan. We need "It's a great day to be a Marauder" merch now. But
yes, we do. I
but
would
yeah.
$50 for a shirt.
But yeah, I go to Millersville. Chase goes to Kutztown. Zach used to go to Kutztown, but he goes to Westchester now. And Nate is out of college, like we said. Where's I going with that? Yeah, I actually am related to some people who play music. On my, I was actually adopted, but on my birth mom's side, they're like 5 aunts on that side, like great aunts who are concert pianists. I didn't get that talent. I got the bass. I got bass talent. I got guitar, a little bit of vocals, but yeah, I can pluck my way through a piano. I'm not anything great on piano. I can play like Maybe I'm Amazed or like
Good tune.
yeah, or a little bit of Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, everyone has to learn that, I do want to get into jazz piano though, like big time. That stuff's really, really cool. Like like Duke Ellington, Bill Evans, Joe Zawinul, the fusion stuff, Donald Fagen, more fusion stuff. But yeah, no, that's what it is on my end.
And basically for me, to keep a long story short, because I've had a lot in terms of college, started at Kutztown as a music education major. Spent a year there. For better or for worse, was not a big fan. They have a lot different faculty now that Chase is there. You can attest to some of the amazing faculty that's there.
Dude, John Riley,
An amazing drummer.
that guy's a guru, man. That guy's freaking awesome.
But back when I went there, not so much. That's all right. Transferred to Westchester, ended up being a business management major, ended up changing that to communication studies. Still love music. A lot of my family is in music. All of my aunts, including my mother, played an instrument, either saxophone, one of them. My mom played trumpet, which is how I ended up getting into trumpet. I found her old horn in my closet when I was, say, in 2nd grade or so. Ended up learning all 12 major scales, went into 4th grade, trumpet 1. Loved it all the way through a second year of college. Ended up setting it aside. I have other priorities with my music, mainly guitar. I've been playing guitar for 10 years this year. But yeah, I've ended up being able to jam with my mom back when I played trumpet. I have a few of them now. So her and I would play together and spend some time doing that. But other than that, not really. Anyone else in my family? My dad played a little bit. My grandparents did not. So that's that. Miss anything?
I mean, why are you looking at me? I don't know.
Well, that's about that.
I mean, now we need Nate, but Nate's Wi-Fi is literally the spottiest Wi-Fi I've ever seen. So, and he's frozen.
I can
right
tell
now,
you,
which makes it even better.
If you need me to, I can me too.
Sure.
I was gonna say, I feel like from what Nate's told me, I feel like he's been playing. From what I've heard, he's been playing guitar since he came out of the womb. You know, but dude's really put in the work. He's self-taught on guitar, and he's done a lot of like studio work, or not studio work, but like he knows how to run a Logic session like nobody I've ever seen, and
Crazy good at it.
he really knows his way around. He knows what he's doing, and he's done a lot of like live sound too, a lot of live sound for churches, different church organizations, and that's like a surprisingly good place, a good source of knowledge for that kind of stuff, because a lot of worship teams, a lot of worship groups really pay top dollar for like
A good sound tech.
good sound techs, good sound systems, good DAWs. For those of you who don't know, a DAW is a digital audio workstation such as Logic, Pro Tools, or Ableton. Little sidebar, Logic gang all the way. But anyway, yeah, really, I feel like Nate is a really, really accomplished dude in his musical career. Dude can also play bass and can play drums as well. And dude really, really knows how to play piano as well. Like
Incredible.
We're working on this track right now called Gloria. Be careful, that's going to come out on the album.
You're going to really enjoy some of that.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that one. I'm actually sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, but he played all the piano on that. It was actually on Zach's piano. It's mahogany with ivory keys. So
I was going to say, fun fact about that piano. It's 120 years old.
Nice.
So, and it has the original strings on it. So when you hear him playing that, it's crazy. It sounds a lot better than you would think.
It's immaculate.
When you hear it, just pay attention to just some of the tonality, just different things, that nuances and certain things that he's able to do. You can hear a lot of the mechanical portions of the piano throughout the tune. It's very dynamic. I think you're going to really like it.
Yeah, and plus, seriously, that piano sounds better than any Steinway. I'm gonna say that right now.
It's a Charles M. Steiff, if anyone knows their vintage pianos.
Exactly. And there's gonna be like one person who's gonna be like, yeah, I know what that is. But speaking of Gloria, this is a bit of a sidetrack here. I have actually been I was like, I listened to Nate play it, and I listened to his MP3 of it. He sent it to me, and I said, dude, this needs strings, like now. And he was like, I don't know, man. I think it sounds pretty good as is. And I'm like, dude, just give me like a few hours. Just send me the MP3 again so I have it, just to be sure I'm like on my laptop. And just let me write some string parts and let me send it to you. He's like, okay, fine. So I take like an hour or two, and I go into MuseScore. Shout out to MuseScore, it's free. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to these different like chord shapes he's using, different like chord voicings, and how they play with the melody. My hair is being anyway. And I'm writing these string parts: violin 1, violin 2, viola, cello, and double bass. And I'm going through, and I'm like, this is gonna work. This is totally gonna work. And I'm writing all these parts, and I finish them. I print them out. I send it to him, and I show it to him. This was still back when he was living here, by the way. This is maybe like 2 or 3 weeks before he left. And I play him the string parts. And I have him like sing with them just to see how they'll sound. And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, let's do it. This is happening. And
most of it's been recorded by now.
Yeah, most of it's actually been recorded. I brought people in to record individual parts. I brought in my old violin teacher, Mr. Ray Malari. Shout out to Mr. Ray. Woo!
He's amazing.
Dude is awesome.
He's amazing.
He taught me everything I know. Hashtag Mr. Ray. Hashtag violin muscles. Yeah, dude, I love that guy. He's great. I had my old bass teacher, Ryan Lever, come in to do double bass work. Had a buddy of mine, Mark Egan, come in to do cello. Ray actually did violin and viola because he also teaches viola. So, dude really put in legwork on that track. And I had a friend of mine from high school, Sophie, come in to play violin. I also laid down some violin tracks, and I had my buddy Harley come in to play double bass.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 double bass tracks, and that's where it's at right now. But we're not done yet because we're going to have a few more people come in to do more violins and violas and cellos. So stay tuned. Basically, the goal for that is to have like this kind of Abbey Road orchestra laid out because they had 12 violins, 4 violas, 4 cellos, and a double bass, but I wanted to do 2 double basses. So 6 violin 1s, 6 violin 2s, et cetera, et cetera.
It's a full orchestra, basically.
I mean, sort of.
It's close.
Technically speaking, it's not, but like we're stealing from the Beatles yet again. So like if you listen to Abbey Road, that's the string section. Like for Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight in the End, that's literally like that was their setup.
We're trying to mimic what they have going on.
Right. And I mean, obviously they had horns and they had, et cetera, but we just wanted strings for this track. So
here we are.
Yeah.
Speaking of the record,
yeah, jump on in.
We will be releasing it in late February. And we have a couple other tunes in the works. One of which is Cafe Racer, which I'm very proud of. Nate worked very hard on that one, writing it.
It's the best.
Good lyrics, backing vocals, things like that. So just be on the lookout for that. I think that's the one thing that I wanted to plug at the end here.
Yeah.
And
my last question was going to be, what do you guys want to plug? But you guys already started doing it, so
I was going to say I'm actually writing a few tracks for that too. I'm doing some lyrical chops. Obviously, not as good as Nate. That is a fact. Nate is a better lyricist and a better vocalist than I am.
He's fantastic.
But I wanted to give it a shot. So there's a little bit of a Lennon-McCartney dynamic, I don't know.
Check out all of our stuff that's currently up, and stay tuned for some of our most recent works.
Absolutely. Also check out Revelation. We're not active right now, but we're going to be hopefully this coming year once COVID decides to stop plaguing the earth.
And maybe once we have more stuff out, we'd love to be on your podcast as Revelation.
Absolutely. That would be great as well. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. And also we mentioned Wyeth. Check out the Moon Illusion. Check out the Odyssey if you want to. But I mean,
that band has been
that band is not active anymore. We disbanded. If you want to check us out, you can. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Thank you. Yeah,
there you go.
Thank you for wording it so well. See the progression. Also, actually, speaking of Moon Illusion, Wyeth actually recently dropped a single like within the last 2 weeks called Heavy Weather. Check that out. Some of the Odyssey guys are on that track. Chase is on drums. I'm doing guitar stuff. Jake is on bass. Our buddy Dylan's doing saxophone stuff. It's a good time. It's a great time. Check it out. Yeah, we like to plug other people too.
Plug our friends.
Yeah,
Thank you, Derek. Very much.
Thank you so much for having us. Listen to the Derek Talks About Blank with Blank podcast. Check them out on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever you've got. And check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you've got. We're everywhere. So yeah, that's our shameless plug.
That's what we got.
Yeah.
That's your shameless 10-minute plug.
Exactly. We will never stop plugging things. Check out Steely Dan. Check out King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Check out Pine Grove. Check out King Crimson. Check out
the Beatles.
Peter Gabriel. Of course, check out the Beatles. Greatest band of all time.
And thank you.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. This has been a great experience. This is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, we'll see you guys later. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good one.